This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Until a person knows who they were created to be, circumstances can easily prevent them from reaching great things in life. Faith can give you power to be who you want to be. No matter who said no, God says yes.
Hello and welcome to Finding Answers. God created you to live a happy life. A lot of people, unfortunately, have been living very sad lives, not knowing that this is not what God has planned for them at all. Obviously, a lot of evil thoughts keep coming to their mind, trying to make them believe that life is all about suffering, there is nothing good about life, or the good things of life are just temporary, but true happiness doesn't really exist. This is nothing but a myth. But we are here to prove to you that this is absolutely a wrong theory. God does want you to be happy. In fact, God has created all that we have seen and heard for our full enjoyment. The sea, the sun, the natural resources, people, all that we've seen, all that our hearts desire, God has made so that we can enjoy it with responsibility. Pastor Neil, the truth of the matter is God did not create people to suffer.
No. Because sometimes the person is going through, let's say, a relationship problem. Every time she enters or he enters a relationship, it's always a bad relationship. It's broken down. And the thought will enter the mind of the person. Is this, as you said, what life has to offer? But that's what not, that God didn't create that person to live an unhappy relationship. So sometimes the person is carrying also a sickness. God didn't create the person to be sick. God created that person to have a healthy body. So when they have this in their minds, they have to remove it. But very soon we are going to explain how can I remove this thought that is this what life has to offer?
Yes, and you know, when you hear these things, you may wonder, okay, if you are saying that God has created us to be happy, so how come my life is a sad reality? How come my body has been now seriously hit by an incurable disease? My relationship is nothing but a total disgrace. My partner and I just can't get on. My children and I don't talk the same language in the sense that we don't understand each other. There is no communication. Life has been bitter, and as days, months, and years go by, the situation is getting worse from bad to worse. Well, the truth of the matter is, God is real, and so is evil. And depending on our choices, we will then have to deal with the consequences of such choices. I want to show you now a testimony of someone who suffered for many years, but when this person heard about the power of intelligent faith and decided to make the right choice, this person's life has changed completely. Let's watch now.
I grew up with a lot of internal issues because I used to see my dad abusing my mum. It was a very difficult thing for me to see at such a young age. It affected me deeply. I grew up with low self-esteem, and I used to look for ways to fill that void that I had inside of me through being with the wrong kinds of people. I didn't know how to say no. I felt like I didn't know who I was, and I had a lot of anger towards my dad for what he had done. So I refused to see him, I refused to speak to him, and I felt very empty inside. I really searched for ways to try and to fill this emptiness, but nothing worked. I felt unsatisfied. The worst moment was when I almost ended up getting into a situation where I almost lost my virginity, but not because I liked being with the person, but because I didn't know how to say no, because I didn't have any control over myself. I felt like I was just led by people. So when I got into that situation, it really scared me, because I thought, what more can happen if I have no control over myself? I don't know how to say no to people. I was a people pleaser. It was when I decided that I'd had enough, when I got to a point where I'd literally had enough of being the way that I was. I'd had enough of feeling down and empty and sad. I'd had enough of being led by people and not having control over myself. And it was when I developed my faith in God and the steps that I was taught, and I learned to grow, to know myself, to know who I was. It was then that I took those steps to change, and I did an 180-degree turn on like the people who were bad influence on me. I said no to the way that I was. I determined that I would be a new person, I would be a different person, and I took steps towards that. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it, and I'm really happy with the person that I am today. I'm completely different. That void that I had, it's been filled, and I'm so much more happy. I forgave my dad. We rebuilt our relationship. My family is complete, even though I came from a broken home, but I don't feel like I came from a broken home. I'm now happily married. I surround myself with people who are like-minded, so I know where I'm going, I'm focused, and I'm happy with life.
Welcome back to Finances. In case you might have missed one of our shows, you're always able to go and watch that episode which you have missed. Finances is on YouTube. If you go to the YouTube search bar and type Finances, you will find our YouTube channel. You can happily subscribe to it if you like, and there you will see a playlist with all the previous shows of Finances, and you will be able to watch them in HD quality. We are also on Facebook and Instagram, and we want to help you. We've got a team of advisors that can answer your call, pray for you. So if you need to talk to us about your problem, if you need a friend whom you can trust and you feel like getting things off your chest, why not give us a call? We are glad to help, isn't it, Pastor?
Yes, for sure. Because sometimes the person will be watching, maybe you're watching and you said, but every time I watch this program, these two pastors, these two men, don't know how you would say, they look happy. What's the secret? We're happy today, but some years ago, it was not like this. And what happened? One day, we received the opportunity to call. We received the opportunity to search for help. So if you need to talk, maybe no one is listening to you, no one have the time to hear you, we have a number you can call. It's 020-7686-6300. Or if you said, I don't want to call, I would like to send an email, you can send it help@findinganswers.tv. You can send, we will answer you. I will answer you, or Pastor Douglas will answer you. But don't embrace the problem and stay there with it. One day we had problem up to our head. We still have our fights. But a number was given to us. We call and we got help. That's why on the program, we can smile, we can laugh with you, but one day was not like that. Was it the same for you, Pastor Douglas?
Absolutely. We are here today. We are in a position to host this show because we now can help people. But life hasn't always been sweet. And it's a sad reality when it comes to the rate of suicide levels in this country. Recently, we've done our own research online, and we've come across massive figures. The numbers are quite high of people who've been ending up taking their own lives simply because they did not want to bother anyone about their problems. In our daily work, and Pastor Neil is my witness of what I'm saying here, we've saved many lives, people who were on the verge of committing suicide, but because they came to us, spoke of their problems, opened their hearts, we were able to help with the Word of God, and this person who was on the brink of committing suicide did not commit suicide at all. And actually, some of these people come here to the studio to talk about their life-changing experience. Dear viewer, if you've been thinking of taking your own life or doing something crazy that will cause serious consequences to you, before you do it, give us a call. We want to help you. We'll go to a break now, and after the break, you're going to hear more stories of people who've made a decision, sought help, spoke to us, and now their lives have been radically transformed. Welcome back to our show. Finding Answers is a show which shows you real life-changing stories. People whose lives were miserable, were utterly destroyed by evil. Now, these people live a new life. I used to be a former drug addict. I OD'd 4 times. I was a severe drug addict. I know what suffering's like. I know what bitterness was like. I know what it is like growing up in a dysfunctional family. I did not have a male figure, a man whom I could look up to and call him a dad. Nevertheless, even though all the odds were against me, I beat the odds because I discovered the power of genuine faith. And the power of genuine faith, Pastor Neil, is available to anyone, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your financial status, regardless of who you are. If you want to discover this life-changing power, you can. But obviously, there are steps you need to take in order to discover such power.
And many people, they have inside of them this. Can I have that? Can I have that kind of life? Maybe right now you are sleeping rough. God didn't create you to sleep rough. God created you for you to have your best house, if it's possible, houses. You are addicted. You are not created for that. God created you to be happy. And that's what we want you to understand what God created you for. You can have it. But it's not something that's going to drop in your hands. As there's a saying, Pastor Douglas, what we want, we have to sweat for it. We have to work hard for it. So, what do you want? I want a good life. This good life is available for you. What you are experiencing now, you're experiencing trauma times. God didn't create that for you. As Pastor Douglas says, for me, I made an attempt 3 times to commit suicide because of a love life problem. But I start to think, no, but this is not the way I'm supposed to live. And I got help. How did I overcome? Through faith. The same can happen for you. And many people, Pastor Douglas, they doubt that God creates that kind of life for them because they have been living in that way for so many years. But the good life that they want, the happiness that they want, is available.
020-7686-6300. The email is help@finances.tv. Help is available. Help is at hand. We can help you, but we can't make any decisions for you. If we could, we would, but we can't. Let's now watch one more story of someone who's made a decision to seek help and discovered the life-changing power of faith.
My childhood years were quite confusing. First, I was growing up with my mom and my dad, and things started going really bad. And my mom and my dad decided they can't be together anymore. And so my mom had to go and work abroad, and I was left with my dad and his siblings. And so I didn't know where I belonged. You know, there was a lot of abuse. You called names, you know, every time you tried to do something good, you know, it wasn't good enough. As I was growing up in my teenage years, we migrated to England. My mom and my dad remarried. After that, I decided, you know, I really wanted to get married because I used to always look at my mom's pictures, you know, her wedding pictures, and admire her dress. And I said I wanted, you know, to get married, have a Cinderella wedding. And I did. I had a very big wedding, white horses. And, you know, it was a very, very beautiful wedding, you know. But not knowing, getting into the marriage, I hadn't dealt with, you know, deep issues that I had encountered when I was little. I found myself getting into fights with my ex-husband, you know. The downfall of our marriage started when I discovered he was into pornography. And that just broke me because for me, I just thought, oh, this just distorted me as a woman. You know, I tried every angle to please him, you know, to dress up. I was thinking, what can I do that would keep him and just look at me rather than any other woman? And it didn't help, really. It really didn't help. It just broke me even more because he didn't stop. And then after some time, I found out he's cheating with my best friend. But within those 10 years, I'd started taking alcohol just to try and suppress the pain and, you know, not understanding why I wasn't good enough, I thought then. So, you know, my addiction to alcohol even got worse. And I met with my ex-boyfriend, and I drank so much alcohol and, you know, we had a one-night stand. And I realized in the morning, I called my ex-husband, then he was my husband. I called him and I was like, this happened. I'm really, really sorry. I mean, I don't know what happened, you know, sincerely, this is not me. I was just caught in that situation. But then I came back and, you know, we started living together. We went counseling and we spoke, and I even had my youngest child. And then after that, my friend, now it was official that, you know, they're in a relationship. Not long after, he asked for a divorce. And I got so depressed. I just wanted, I wanted to take my life. I found myself in A&E, but I didn't die, of course, because God was there, and I had people around that helped me, the church, that I attend, and they helped me through it all. And so now I'm very, very happy. I'm staying with my children now, and as a single parent, I'm building my life. I'm getting myself into a business, part-time job, and I've found answers in, different areas of my life. I've discovered myself, my value. I don't need to be crying for a man or begging him. I have greater things and more wonderful things to look forward to. And my life is happy.
Welcome back. Have you just seen what the power of faith can do? Have you seen and heard what God has done in this individual's life? The same can happen to you. Yes, you who are suffering, you who are a drug addict, and you just can't help. You've tried to stop, you've tried to quit, but you don't know how. You who have been a severe alcoholic for many years now, and there is a history of alcohol abuse in your family. Your parents used to drink quite a lot. Your dad was an alcoholic, and now you are an alcoholic. Your children have become alcoholic. People who've been drinking a lot. There is a solution for you. You who have been contemplating suicide, and nobody knows about this. You walk in your neighborhood, in your vicinity, and you wave to your neighbors, and you say hello. But little they know about what is going on in your head, that you are just on the verge of taking your own life. Stop what you're doing. Pay attention to what we are saying here. Because if you're watching us now, this is not a coincidence. This didn't happen by chance. God is using this show here to give you perhaps the life opportunity, that one-off opportunity that you've been looking forward to receiving it, and it never came across. But the opportunity now has been offered to you. Will you take it or let it go? The decision is yours. We are going to go to a break now. And after this break, Pastor Neil and I will be here talking more about the power of faith and showing more testimonies of people whose lives are now completely changed.
Welcome back. I want to ask you a question. Come close to me here. How is your life? What kind of life are you experiencing at this moment? Maybe you are unemployed and you are saying, is this what life has to offer? But God didn't create you to be unemployed. God created you to have your best business and a good job. Maybe you find yourself sometimes there's no food in the house. But this is not the life God created for you. Maybe you ask, but how can I have the life that God created for me? You have to embrace faith. Without you embrace faith, so you will not have this life. And that is the reason why I'm inviting you right now to give us a call at 020-7686-6300. We are available to hear you. But one thing I can tell you, that's not the life God created for you. Take an action and come out of that situation, and you are going to see how happy you will be. Who knows you'll be the next testimony? Pastor Douglas, sometimes the person find themselves in a situation and they can't imagine, or they never think, or if I can say that, they can be in another situation. I don't know, remember there was one program, I don't know if it's the last one we did, or one of the program, the person is in a place and think, that is my world, only this is my life. No, there's a better life there for you. Isn't it, Pastor Douglas?
Absolutely, and we are not just talking here. This is not just talks and talks. We show it. We show life-changing stories, study cases of people whose lives were deteriorating, people who were suicidal, depressed, confused, lost, not knowing what to do, not knowing where to turn to, people who were jobless, sick, empty, hopeless, couldn't sleep at night time. And now at the present moment, these people are living a new reality. And this is not just fake stories. We are not here fabricating stories. All that we do here is 100% genuine. And we can talk about this because this has happened to us. It happened to me. I can talk about this because I'm a true witness of God's power in my life. And so is Pastor Neil. Therefore, I want you now to pay close attention and watch this testimony of someone who has made a difference and has now lived a different life.
Hi, and I'm here with Declan today to speak about his story. He will share with us what happened with him when addiction had hit his life. Well, Declan, good day to you.
Good day.
Tell me, which kind of addiction you had?
I was addicted to a few things, like pornography, but my main one was marijuana.
Marijuana?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, first is because I was living a life of crime, and I was facing a period where I got caught for offence that I was done, and I was facing up to 14 years in prison. Now, I was at 18 at the time, so at 18 years old, I was facing 14 years.
So you were caught when you were 18?
18.
And you would face 14 years?
In total, yes.
And that's the reason why you wanted to go for that, or?
Not just that, but I also was expecting a child. So it was a lot of pressure on my shoulders as a young person. So the only place where I thought I could find peace was during my time smoking.
How often you used to smoke?
First it started socially, I'll just smoke with friends. But I gradually started to smoke every single day.
Every day?
Every day.
The urge, the thought used to come to your mind, you used to bend for that?
Yes.
But life of crime, you said?
Yep.
What you used to do to support this addiction you had?
Well, at the time I was working, so whenever I was earning money, I'd buy weed with some of the money as well.
Was all the money going for that?
Not all the money, but majority. Majority
of the money, because majority of the addicts, they say like this, that no, life is not only for the addiction, but at the end of the day, majority of the money is going for the addiction. Was that your case?
Yeah, it was my case, because even though I had a child, I wasn't giving enough to him, but I was spending more with hanging out with friends, smoking.
Declan, some people say that marijuana is a kind of medicine, it's okay. What did you lose for this addiction?
Well, I started to lose my identity. In fact, I even lost my family, my son, because I found so much pleasure in smoking that I pushed everyone aside, apart from my people that I was smoking with, just to smoke. That was my peace.
So among the friends, the so-called friends,
yeah,
if there was marijuana among them, that was okay. That was a kind of family for you.
Yes.
And house was now left aside.
Yes.
And in the house?
In the house, it wasn't too bad, because most of my family members, they smoked. But it was just everything in my immediate family, in the sense of me having my child, I just disowned him.
Can you describe a worse moment?
a worse moment, I believe, while smoking, I became so arrogant. I already had a temper issue, but I just wouldn't take anything from anybody. I remember having a physical fight with my dad to the extent where I actually hit him, and I just remember him on the floor, knocked out.
You lost respect for your dad. Because this is the ultimate action of somebody that doesn't respect anymore family, isn't it? So marijuana used to give all respect to.
Yeah.
Friends with that, you also respect them. Because you know that's among the criminals and all, there is this code of conduct. You know the danger of losing respect there. But in the house, you cross the limits.
Cross the limits.
Could you see the consequences of that?
I could, is because it got to a time, if I didn't have any weed on me, I would be searching the belongings of family members, I'll be searching the couches, I'll be searching any small little cracks just to find small residues of marijuana so I could smoke it. So it got to a point where I was really severely addicted to it. It's like I couldn't live without the marijuana.
Well, what I mean is this, could you see how it was affecting you when you hit your dad, when you were stealing right inside of the house? Could you see it?
No, you couldn't see it. You can think of the consequences after what has happened, but we didn't really care.
So that constant urge for the use of the element, constant desire for this, using every day, losing respect for everyone that was close to you. How did you manage to beat it up?
Well, I was invited to a place by my friend's girlfriend and his mum, and the methods that I was learned, it was very intelligent, so I decided to take it on board. I started to hear of other cases where people was helped.
So you came to the bottom of the pit, because for an addict to accept this kind of help and desire to be clean, he really realized already that, come on, I lost a lot. Did you hit the bottom?
One thing I realized is that I had to identify why I was smoking. I realized that I was smoking to run away from the stress of everything that was my life. And when I was smoking, I tried to hide through the highness, but when I was not high, the stress was still there. So it was like, what I'm trying to hide from is actually not going anywhere. I realized that I had to face my problems head on, and I know that smoking wasn't helping me face my problems.
Talking about this method that you learned, this discipline that you applied to come out of this situation, did it help?
It helped a lot, and especially helped me to build up a will inside of me, a desire inside of me to say no. You know, I built so much self-belief that I could know that I could say no, and I can exactly stick behind what I said.
If we make a comparison here of Declan today and the Declan before, what changed?
A lot changed. My mindset changed. My character, I was someone that had the mindset of, well, even when I would wake up, I had to get high. I had to smoke throughout the day. My mind was on getting high. Now, my mind is not upon getting high. I don't need, even I get stressed now, I don't need to be high to face my problems. I can face my problems knowing that there's an end result. Even myself, my character, like I said, I'm more happy. Before I was very arrogant. I even had temper issues. Now I'm calm. I know exactly what I want in life. Before I didn't really know exactly what I wanted, but now I know what I want and I'm going after that.
But do you still have the urge for the use of the element?
No urge whatsoever.
The desire, the thoughts, what is it?
It's gone. Even though I have people smoking around me, I've passed many smokers because it's on the streets. I have the desire inside of me is, I had to step behind them because I can't take it no more.
You feel what, disgusted by that?
I feel sick.
You feel sick?
I feel sick.
With what was hooking you before?
Yeah.
Now you feel sick?
Yeah.
Wow. Can you say that there is a solution for addiction?
I can say that there is a solution because I've seen the solution. And I am the solution because of what I've been through.
Thank you, Declan. If you want to know more about this method, give us a call, 020-7686-6300, and you'll find out more. Let's go back to the studio.
One issue that I used to really have was problems sleeping at night. For about 9 years straight, I would literally be having the same nightmare on and off, on and off. And it was a very weird but almost realistic nightmare. So it was like the area I would live in would morph into something different. And then I would end up being chased by black figures. like just running through my area. I would recognize like key spots of, you know, where I lived in this nightmare. And so what would happen, for me to get to sleep, I would be rocking myself back and forth like my head, just so it would rock me to sleep. I couldn't sleep without music and the television on. So for me, it took me a very long time, and then before I knew it, I wouldn't know what time it is and I have to wake up and I'm going to school. And this would happen for on and off 9 years. And for me, it was very difficult because it got to a point where I was so scared to walk through my area. And there was a particular part of this area where in the dream, I would literally be faced with this big black figure and it would chase me all the way back home. So because of this part of the nightmare, I wouldn't be able to go to this particular area in my own area. I wouldn't be able to go through that place. I would take another route, the long way round, just so that I wouldn't go to that area. Even in the dream, it felt so real. It's like I could almost touch myself and feel like, but I would wake up and I would know that, oh, it was just a dream. And it would always end the same way. So for me, it was like, if it's almost kind of repetitive, it must be real. And there was even cases where I would sleepwalk. So I would go to the bathroom, I would turn the tap on, I would knock down the bike in the corridor, I would do many things, but be fully unconscious of what I'm doing. All these things I only knew because my mum would witness me doing it, or she would wake up and she would see that the bathroom had been run. Once, me and my mum, we went on holiday, and we obviously had to share the same bed. And I ended up beating her up in my sleep. So she woke up with scratches all over her, and she was like, "Louise, you just attacked me at night." And I was like, but I didn't know. I felt so guilty inside of me. I was like, I would never want to hurt my mum, even though we didn't really have a good relationship the way that I wanted it at that time. I never dreamt of even hurting her. So when I saw that, I felt like a monster. But even though it wasn't me, I just felt like a monster. And even at times I would have dreams of like pushing my mum down the stairs. It was terrible. So for me, it was like, I didn't want to sleep. So when I went to university, things got worse because, you know, late night partying and you're up all night or you're studying. So you become restless. And for me, the only time I could sleep was during the day. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't. I'd be up maybe till 6 o'clock knowing that I had lectures, but I couldn't sleep. And it got to a point where once I was so tired that I completely passed out during the day. I missed my lectures, I missed everything, I was gone. To a point where people were so worried they had to break into my room. And they broke into my room and I was still sleeping. And then they woke me up, they were like, "Louise, like, where have you been?" And I was just like, "I've just been sleeping." And for me, that was really one of the worst moments for me, because it was like anyone could have just come into my room and attacked me. I was so vulnerable, I didn't even know what to think. Thank goodness it was, you know, people who were actually kind of looking after me in a sense. But for me, that was one of the worst moments, and that attacking my mum at night, because again, I never would have intentionally ever wanted to harm her. But when I saw those cuts, it even hurt me personally, it did. There was nothing to tell me, oh, this is not right, this is not normal. It was just normality to me. It's only when I came to the church, I was coming to the Friday meetings, where I understood that, okay, these nightmares, these things that I'm doing in my sleep, it's not me. And I started to understand the roots behind it. And it's funny because even as I started attending the Friday meetings, I had these nightmares again. They came up. But the funny thing is, I remember the very last time I had this nightmare, because I remember I went that night just so kind of angry that all these years I had been experiencing it, and I finally understood what was behind it. So I remember doing like a very strong prayer on me, saying, it's not gonna be no more. But that night I had the nightmare, but it ended differently. Because usually in the nightmare, I would run to my house, I would be dodging all these dark figures, but I would run to my house and the door would not close properly. It wouldn't close. So it was a thing where it was like, I would close the door behind me, but you could see outside. It was very strange. But this very last nightmare, I'll never forget, the door closed. And for me, it was like I woke up believing that I had been set free. I knew that that was the last time I was gonna have that nightmare, and I didn't have it again. I didn't have it again. So from then, I started to have more peaceful sleeps. I didn't have to rock myself. Even now, I'm at a point where if the light is on, I'm like, turn it off. Like, trust me, it doesn't take long for me to sleep at all. I sleep peacefully and probably sleep too much sometimes, but honestly, I don't have no more nightmares. I don't sleepwalk. I don't attack people in my sleep. I'm not scared to go through that area. I'm free, so yeah.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Finding Answers is on social media. If you want to watch any previous show, or if you want to know more about Finding Answers, you can, visit our Facebook page. We are also on Instagram, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go and on the YouTube search bar, type that Finding Answers, and you find there our channel. You can subscribe to it if you like and watch all the previous shows in HD quality. And you can also save lives by sending the link or resending the link to a friend of yours, someone whom you know that desperately needs help. And you can save a life by sharing one of the links of our previous shows. Okay? Now the time has come. We want to invite you now to use your faith. You have faith, but obviously this faith has to be put into action. Your faith cannot be dormant. Your faith has to be active. And one of the first steps to get your faith activated is through prayer. Prayer is not just a religious talk. Prayer is a sincere talk to God. And anyone can do that. You don't need to use eloquent words, nor do you need to use beautiful words. You simply need to pour your heart and say what you feel inside of you. We will go to a short break now, and after the break, we will then have the moment of prayer. Welcome back to Finding Answers. What you have seen so far, the testimonies, the transformational power of faith, what faith can do to people. People who chose to believe and take the right course of action. People who called, who sent us an email, and now they are living a different life. And all this happened for free. They did not need to pay for it. They had to obviously make some sacrifices. And one of the sacrifices which they had to make was to be humble enough to shout for help. And perhaps you who are watching us now, you could relate to everything that happened here in this show. You know you're suffering. You know you have reached to a certain point where you have reached your breaking point. You literally hit rock bottom and you don't know what else to do. What are you waiting for to shout for help? What else do you need to experience in order to realize that life is getting from bad to worse, and unless you do something to make a change, things are not going to change by themselves. They won't. You who have that, that false illusion where time will heal my problems. Time will make me feel better. Time will make the situation better. But how much time? How long have you been going through the same problem? 5, 10, 15 years or more? And time did not help your problem get better. Actually, as time goes by, the problem is getting worse. So unless you do something to change your life will remain the same. And this is not me saying it. This is, the reality. This is what we've seen on a daily basis.
For sure, Pastor. On the cross, the last word our Lord Jesus said is, "It is finished." It's time for you to put this inside of you. I have to end my suffering now. I need to do something now because time is going by and my life is the same. I'm still having sleepless nights. I'm still having problems in my marriage. I'm still having problems with my children. I'm still stressed. I'm still oppressed. I'm still feeling heavy, carrying sicknesses in my body. The last word he said here, "It is finished." And it's time for you to finish with this problem that you are going through. You agree with me, Pastor God?
Absolutely, 100%. We want to invite you now to use your faith, which you have inside of you. This faith is there. It might be dormant, inactive, but it's there. And your faith is like a sleeping giant. Once it wakes up, it will be very powerful. And it will certainly tackle the enemy until the enemy is utterly destroyed. This is what faith does against evil. Faith finishes with evil. So we want to invite you now to pray with us. So let's now talk to our God.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your family and loved ones, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
My Father, on the cross, you said the last word, "It is finished." And this person right now that have inside of them, I wonder if this is what life has to offer. They can't sleep at nights. They have no food to eat. Day after day, the constant fighting in the marriage. The son becomes a gang member. The daughter, she's already pregnant at 16, and the house is upside down. Every job this person received, he lost. And his life continued going down and down. But just as you said, "It is finished," I minister right now healing, freedom upon the lives of this person. You that you are watching right now, maybe you're in the hospital and you are sick. Touch, if it's possible, the screen. You're at home, you are sick. Touch there the screen now and be healed. Be healed in the name of Jesus. You can't sleep at night. Touch the screen, and I guarantee you tonight you'll sleep. Because faith, the power of faith, is so strong that nothing can stand in its way. I minister total freedom, total deliverance. I pray for the husband, the wife, the family, and I present, my Lord, the lives of these people in your hands. Thank you very much. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
It was a great pleasure being with you here on this show, and I'm sure that you grasped the Spirit. The testimony, the prayer, the biblical argument. I mean, we've done our best.
Yes.
We've done the best we could. We served God here with the best of our ability to help you.
And one more thing, Pastor Douglas. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah, go on.
There's a number that is the number of transformation. Can you tell them this number that they need to call now? It's a number of life. What's the number for life? Tell to them, Pastor Douglas.
020-7686-6300. Call us. We want to help you. Okay? That's it for today. Stay safe. God bless you.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.